Yes, ma'am. In the last class, we have discussed about dairy farm management and what are the steps that we have to follow. Okay, while maintaining the okay, that is the first and foremost selection of the breed with a high yielding variety and a disease resistant variety. Okay, for that local area. Okay, and okay, the scientific method. Okay, we have to follow certain scientific method of providing fodder, milk. Okay, housing of the animal, proper housing of the animal. Okay, and next a record has to be maintained. Okay, and a veterinary doctor visit regularly. Okay, there is these are the some of the okay steps that we have to follow while we are maintaining a dairy farm. Okay, and the second one is a poultry farm management. Okay, poultry. Okay, poultry is the class of domesticated fowl used for food or for their eggs. Okay, when you observe the birds are reared for the sake of meat as well as for eggs. So, okay, some fowls or some birds are grown for the sake of food, that is in the form of meat, and some are grown for the sake of eggs. Okay, so when we say poultry means generally the bird that will comes to our mind is the chicks. Okay, the chicken. Okay, chicken or the birds that will comes into our mind, but poultry means not only rearing of chicks, all the birds whichever we grow, okay, whichever we grow or rear, all they comes under this poultry only. So they typically include chicken and ducks, and sometimes turkey and geese. Okay, turkey birds, okay, geese, ducks, chicken, like this. Different types of birds we used to grow for the sake of meat and also for eggs. So the word poultry often used to refer the meat of only these birds, but in a more general sense, it may refer to the meat of other birds too. Okay, generally we'll think of only these four birds: chicken, ducks, turkey, and geese. Generally we'll think of this one only, but okay, poultry refers to all other birds which are grown for the sake of meat. Okay, the poultry farm management also a little bit similar to that of dairy farm management. Why? Because so for what purpose we want to grow the birds, based on that we have to select the breed. For suppose if we are growing for the sake of meat only, we have to select a specific breed. Okay, and if we are growing for the sake of eggs, if you want to grow the okay rear the birds for the sake of eggs, for that there are some other different breeds we have to rear. So that's why the selection of the breed is here very important. Okay, so as in dairy farming, selection of disease free and suitable breeds. So selection of disease free, that means disease resistant varieties, and next suitable breeds. Okay, proper and safe farming conditions. So that means the housing of the birds should be done. Okay, the group of birds we call it as a flock. Flock, flock. Flock means a group of birds. Okay, when you are placing this flock, it should not be overcrowded. The place should not be overcrowded with a large number of birds in that flock. Okay, that means the space should be properly provided. It should not be congested. And safe farming conditions. That means we have to maintain certain hygienic conditions, proper ventilation, proper light, okay, lighting. Okay, and next proper feed depending upon the purpose which for which we are growing the birds. Based on that, the food is also to be given. Proper and water facility has to be done. And hygiene and health care are important components of a poultry farm management. So hygiene, definitely this is plays a very important role. If you don't maintain hygiene properly, a large number of diseases will easily spread within the birds of a flock. That's why the hygiene, it should be regularly cleaned, okay, regularly disinfected, okay, so that we can prevent the spread of the disease. Okay, and health care, that means regularly vaccination, okay, regularly debeaking. That means when you observe the beaks will grow. If the beaks are very sharp and are long, then okay, the birds will easily quarrel among themselves. It may lead to the death because even the beaks are sharp and long. So regularly we have to undergo debeaking. That means that the beak has to be made, okay, cut into a blunt ends. Okay, and vaccinated. Okay, regularly it has to be vaccinated so that we can prevent the diseases. So that is okay. All these, that means it is similar. Okay, all the conditions what we are studied under dairy farm management, the similar conditions that we have to follow with the poultry farm management. Okay, and important components of poultry farm management. And next, okay, along with that, okay, we can observe regularly some diseases. Okay, some diseases affecting the birds, especially the poultry birds. We can see a large number of birds have been died because of certain diseases. Okay, so that is you can observe here. You may have seen TV news. Okay, you may have seen TV news or read a newspaper reports about the bird flu virus, which created a scare in the country and drastically affected egg and chicken consumption. Okay, when you observe this bird flu virus, okay, this bird flu virus will affect the respiratory system of the bird. And another thing is that this bird flu not only affects, or this bird flu virus not only causes infection in the birds, but it also get infected to the human also. That is the main problem with this bird flu virus. Okay, and next it easily spreads through what? Okay, through the food, water, and excreta of the animal. That's why. Okay, if you observe, okay, that's why it easily spreads within the flock. within a short period of time, it can spread to the total dairy farm, sorry, total poultry farm. Birds are affected because it is spread through air, water, food, and next through the excreta. So when you find the symptoms of this bird flu, immediately those birds which are showing the symptoms of this bird flu, okay, those should be separated and they're culled. That means they are either buried deep inside the soil. Okay, that means we have to dig a pit deep inside the soil and we have to bury the birds inside the soil and covered with the soil. Or otherwise it is burned to death, so that we can prevent the spread of the disease to other birds in the flock. Okay, and we can see, okay,
is there medicine is available?
Doctor,
yes, now it is available. Now vaccine is available. Okay, now vaccine is available for this. Now, no problem. But long before, okay, at the time when there is no vaccination for this, at the time it affected a lot of birds. So, okay, we can see here, find out more about it and discuss whether the panic reaction was justified. And next, when you observe here, okay, this virus is mainly spread through the migratory birds. Okay, this virus is mainly spread through the migratory birds. Okay, the migratory birds, they are moving from one place, that is from one continent to another continent, so that they are easily spreading. So we can't prevent the migratory birds reaching. So for that, what we have, okay, we have to take a proper preventive steps. Okay, so we can see here, so how we can prevent the spread of flu in case some chicken are infected. I already told you, okay, the chicken which are infected with this bird flu, those chicken has to be separated. Immediately they need to be culled. That means either they're buried deep inside the soil by making the pits, or it is burned to death, so that we can prevent the spread of the disease to other birds in the flock. So that is okay. This bird flu was caused by H1N1 virus. Okay, there are different strains of bird flu. In that, H1N1 is more observed in our country. Okay, okay, that is about this poultry farm management. Anybody is having any doubt?
no, sir. No, sir.
Okay. And next, coming to the animal breeding, that means how to develop different varieties of breeds which are useful. Okay, it may be the plants, okay, it may be the dairy farm, or okay, dairy animals or poultry animals, whatever it is. How we can able to develop new breeds that are best suitable for that area. Okay, that is so that we'll discuss under this animal breeding. Okay, when you observe this animal breeding, okay, what is meant by breeding? Breeding of animals is an important aspect of animal husbandry. Okay, this is okay, the breeding, that means developing a new varieties, new useful varieties. Is why, so this is the breeding is very important aspect of animal husbandry. So animal breeding aims at increasing the yield of animals. So the first and foremost thing we'll observe in case of breeding is we have to get high yielding varieties. That is the first preference that we have to give. High yielding. And next, the second one is improving the desirable qualities of the produce. For example, okay, if you are growing pulses, plants, okay, for example, if you take plants, okay, if you are growing pulses, okay, pulse crop, okay, are in that, okay, in that plant variety, we have to, okay, we have to improve the protein content. Already some protein content is there in the pulses. Sir, we have to increase the some more quantity of protein content in that pulses. Okay, we'll not go with the carbohydrate or fat. That is not important with pulses. For example, if you are growing oil seeds, in that what we have to do, we have to improve the oil content or fat content in that seeds. In that way, we have to go for breeding. For example, if we are growing the animal for the sake of meat, okay, that meat should possess more protein content. Or if we are growing the animal for the sake of milk, we have to see for the okay, more amount of milk per day and more protein or fat content in that milk. So we have to observe for both quality as well as the quantity. In both the ways, we have to increase the production. These are okay. These that we have to first and foremost we have to give preference in animal breeding. That is quantity and quality of yield. So for what kind of characters would we breed animals? Any other characters means disease resistance. Okay, efficient use of nutrients. Okay, so that these are the some of the characters that we look for. So okay, and next they can grow in any environmental conditions. Okay, they can grow in different environmental conditions. Okay, so like that we can able to develop. So what kind of characters would we breed animals means all these. Okay, high yielding, high quantity, high quality, and next disease resistance, and next okay, to grow in different environmental conditions. Okay, like that. And next, would the selection of characters differ with the choice of animals? Yes. Okay, the choice. For example, if you take birds, okay, we'll find two. Okay, birds are grown for the sake of two purpose. One is for meat and one is for eggs. The birds which are grown for the sake of meat are called as broilers. And the birds that are grown for the sake of eggs, we call it as layers. Okay, we call it as layers. So the type of breed that we select for layers is different, and the type of the breeds that are selected for broilers is different. And at the same time, if you take the cattle, okay, some cattle are grown for the sake of meat, some cattle are grown for the sake of milk, and some are grown for the draught purpose, that is for transport purpose. So depending upon our requirement, okay, we'll select different characters. And based on that characters that we select, we'll select the breed and we'll rear. So would the selection of characters differ with those with the choice of animals? Yes, definitely. Okay, and next, what do we understand by the term breed? What is meant by breed? Breed means a group of animals related by descent and similar in most characters like general appearance, features, size, configuration, etc. are said to belong to a breed. Okay, simply we can say it as a group of animals which are morphologically similar. Okay, a group of animals which are morphologically similar. In simple terms, we can say, because here to say a group of animals related by descent. That means they are all produced from one group of organisms. So that's why we are saying related by descent. That means they should have certain relation. The organisms should have certain relation, and that organisms must show, okay, similar characters like appearance, features, size, configuration, etc. Okay, and such a group of animals which are showing such characters, all together we call it as one breed. Okay. Okay, find out the names of some common breeds of cattle and in the farms of your area. Okay, we can observe the different types of breeds. Okay, what is the, okay, generally in okay, in your, okay, in this area, generally they grow cows for the sake of milk. What is the common breed that is grown in your places? The cow, the common cow breed. Can anyone say?
Jersey cow, sir.
Jersey. Here they will grow Jersey.
Near my home, Jersey.
Jersey only. Okay. Any other? Gir. No one. Okay. No gir. No. Only Jersey. Gir cows. Jersey. And next, Desi
No.
cows. Okay. That is okay. Different cattle, and then and at the same time, when you observe the poultry, different types of poultry we can also observe, like a seal. Okay, and next, white leghorn. Okay, like this. Okay, we can go. Okay, for the sake of meat and for the sake of eggs, we'll use to grow. Okay, so we can observe the different types of breeds of cattle and poultry that are usually grown. And next, okay, there are two main types of breeding. Is inbreeding, and the second one is outbreeding. Okay, inbreeding, and the second one is outbreeding. What is mean by this? Okay, when breeding is between animals of the same breed, it is called inbreeding. Okay, if the breeding is taken place or taking place between two same breeds, okay, that means male and female. We'll select male and female animal, cow and ox, you can say. Okay, we said bull. We should not say it as ox. Ox is different from bull. What is the difference between ox and bull? Okay, can anyone know what is the difference between ox and a bull?
Ox is big, sir. Bull is small, sir.
No, 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 no.
Ox is native,
Okay,
sir.
bull is a no. Okay, okay. Bull means the active and fertile males. Okay, ox means that we'll use for a draught purpose. in which what they will do means they will crush the reproductive organs of that male so that they are made infertile. And that such males are used for a draught purpose, for transport or for agriculture purpose they are using. And such ones we call it as ox. Okay, they are not used for breeding purpose because okay, in those animals what they will do means they'll crush the testicles. They do not produce male gametes. Okay, such ones we are calling as ox. And the bull means active and fertile one, which is used for breeding purpose. Okay, that is the difference between bull. Okay, so we are selecting the cow and the bull. When you are selecting the cow and the bull, if they belong to the same breed, then we are calling it as inbreeding because they are closely related ones, because they belong to the same breed. For example, if we take a Jersey cow and a Jersey bull and we are undergoing breeding, okay, and producing the new generation, then it is called as inbreeding. Okay, next second one is outbreeding. While crosses between different breeds are called outbreeding. Okay, that means if you want to, okay, if you want to develop a new variety of breed by crossing two different varieties or two different breeds, then the newly produced one we are calling it as outbreed. That, and the process we are calling it as outbreeding. For example, okay, we have got two varieties like Gir and a Jersey. Okay, we'll take okay, Jersey cow and a Gir bull, and we'll cross between these two individuals, and the resulted one of new generation that is produced we call it as outcross, okay, outbreed. And the process we are calling it as outbreeding. So okay, if a cross is made between different breeds, called as outbreeding. Okay, that is you can see here. So first we'll discuss about inbreeding. What are the advantages? And okay, and there are some advantages are there and some disadvantages of inbreeding. Already while we are discussing about sexual reproduction in flowering plants, we come across now inbreeding depression. Inbreeding depression, that one will come across here very detailed. Okay, we'll come across this. So inbreeding refers to the mating of more closely related individuals within the same breed for 4 to 6 generations. Okay, that means if a mating, okay, if the mating female is taken place between closely related individuals within the same breed. For example, okay, first we select one male and one female. Okay, okay, that is a cow and bull, and we cross two cow and bull, and we after one female. Okay, the female calf is obtained, and now this female calf which is obtained is again crossed with the male parent. That is the bull which is involved in the production of this calf. Okay, and now a new generation, for example, a male calf was born between these two. Now this male calf is bred with the cow, that is the mother, and the new generation is produced. Now, okay, and this may again cost the mother only. Now the female is produced, and now this female is crossed with or bred with the male partner. So that means very close, like this, for 4 to 6 generations, we are undergoing continuously this, okay, with the related ones. Okay, and such a process we are calling it as inbreeding. Okay, and next, okay, while breeding, while undergoing inbreeding, whatever we'll do, what we'll do means always we'll select superior ones. That means the best. Okay, for example, a farmer is having, okay, somewhere around 20 animals in his dairy farm. In that 20 animals, okay, all will not give the same quality and quantity of milk. No, some cows will give more milk and some will give less milk. So what the farmer will do? The farmer will select the best cow in his herd. Okay, in the herd of animals, okay, he will select the best cow, and in the bulls also he will select the best bull. Okay, bull, how we will select means first we'll go with the muscular body, that is strong body, disease resistance, and okay, in that also the property of milk will be there, but as it is milk, it is the character. So how we can able to know that means when we cross with the cow, if that cow is able to produce a new female with a high milk yielding, then we can say that that bull is having the ability to give more milk. So such bulls he will select. Okay, bull with a muscular structure, high muscular structure, and next disease resistant, and also the property of giving more milk, which is not visible, but genetically it is present. Such bulls will select, and such bulls are only crossed with the good milk yielding female. Okay, and the new generations are obtained, and in that new generations that are obtained also, again you will select the superior ones. Only those superior ones are only undergone breeding continuously. So that is, so the breeding strategy is as follows. Okay, every time you will select the superior males and superior females of the same breed are identified and mated in pairs. Okay, and mated in pairs. And next, the progeny obtained from such matings are evaluated. That means we have to check. Okay, directly we can't use that progeny for another breeding process. What we have to do, whatever the progeny that is obtained from these two superior male and female breeding, and from that generations, again they will select which are showing the best qualities, that is superior qualities. Okay, evaluated, and superior males and females among them are identified for further mating. So for further breeding process, they select the superior male and female from the generations that are produced from this initially selected superior male and female. Okay, like that, continuously the breeding, that is the process, that is since very long time, without understanding the scientific knowledge, but still they are following this method since very long time, since we started farming. Okay, so and next, a superior female in case of cattle is the cow or buffalo that produces more milk for lactation. So how we can select the superior female means the superior female, that is the cow or buffalo in case of okay, buffalo, okay, in case of okay, we'll select the male female buffalo, and next for a okay, here we'll select the cow, the which one is the superior, which is showing the superior qualities. Okay, superior quality of milk production per lactation, that is because okay, the cows or buffaloes will give milk only for certain period of time after the okay, after the giving birth to that calf, the young calf. Okay, it will give for about 1.5 years or 2 years, like that. After that again, okay, the milk used. So again, it has to undergo fertilization, and a new calf has to be developed inside. And later, when they give birth to the calf, then again it starts lactation. So in that lactation, the lactation period also we have to look after how much period of lactation, and quality and quantity of that milk, that one. Okay, and that we have to select, and that one we have to select as a superior ones. Okay, and on the other hand, a superior male is the bull, which give rise to superior progeny as compared to those of other males. So how we can select the males means, or means, okay, we have to select the superior progeny, okay, which will give rise to superior progeny. We have to test it. Okay, we have to test the male, because directly we can't able to understand the characteristics of male. So we have to first test it, whether it is able to give rise to superior progeny or not, with the best qualities of females with milkish, with lactation. So such a superior males are selected as a bull. So which give rise to superior progeny as compared to those of other males. So that means that they will test once all the males, and they check their progeny, and which, okay, whichever the bull that is producing superior with the desired characters, that one will be selected for a production of further generations. The remaining all are discarded, will not continue that males. Okay, they will be used for a drought purpose, that is for a agriculture purpose or for transport purpose or like that. And next, okay, what is the importance of this inbreeding, or what is the advantage of this inbreeding? Okay, try to recollect the homozygous pure lines developed by Mendel as discussed in chapter 5. Okay, we have not completed this one, the chapter 5. Okay, here we have to understand the pure lines. What is meant by pure line? Pure line means
Purely breeded.
yes, okay, that means if an organism, when it is undergone selfing, or when it is undergone mating between closely related ones, if it is able to produce similar characteristics containing organisms for many generations, then we can say that that organism is a pure line or a true breeding. Or we can say that that okay, it is a homozygous for that character. Homozygous means okay, generally the organisms are diploid. No, generally the organisms are diploid. That means we'll find two sets of chromosomes. That's why we say 23 pairs in human. So any organism, okay, usually the numbers are diploid. That means we find two sets of chromosomes. and each chromosome consists of one gene, and the other chromosome consists of another gene. If both the genes on the chromosomes are similar, if the genes which are present on the chromosomes are similar, so we will observe two first chromosomes. Okay, the first chromosome will be 2 in number now. In that 2 chromosomes, the gene for the one character is same in the other gene on the other chromosome also. Then we say that okay, these two genes are homozygous, like capital T, capital T, capital T, small t. You might have studied in your 10th class. Okay, capital T, small t, or okay, capital Y, small g, like this. Okay, these okay, that means if you find similar genes on the homologous chromosomes, then such a phenomenon we are calling it as a homozygous condition. Okay, if you are finding same genes, then the same character only get transmitted to the next generation, because there is no choice. Okay, all the gametes that are produced will have the same gene. Okay, if the genes are different, if one is capital T, one is small t, okay, some of the gametes will receive capital T and some of the gametes will receive small t. Then we'll find there is a change in the characters in the progeny, because they are not homozygous, they are heterozygous, because they are showing two different genes on the homologous chromosomes. So here, okay, to develop a homozygous nature, inbreeding is useful. Inbreeding is very useful. Okay, inbreeding will increase the homozygosity. Okay, that is so. Try to recollect the homozygous pure line. That means the pure lines which are homozygous. Okay, developed by Mendel. Okay, that means the Mendel has developed the homozygous or pure line varieties by this inbreeding method only. Okay, that is a similar strategy is used for developing pure lines in cattle, as was used in case of peas. So in case of cattle also we can follow the similar procedure. Okay, to develop the pure lines as developed by the Mendel to develop pure lines of pea plant, garden pea plant. So that's what he's saying. So in homozygosity, that means we can develop pure lines by using inbreeding. So thus inbreeding is necessary if you want to evolve a pure line in any animal. Okay, that is okay. So thus inbreeding is necessary if you want to evolve. Okay, evolve a pure line in any animal. That means okay, if you want to develop pure lines in any breed, what we have to follow means we have to undergo inbreeding so that we can develop homozygous individuals or pure lines. And another thing is that inbreeding exposes harmful recessive genes that are eliminated by selection. So here selection, okay, that means inbreeding has to be followed by the selection. Why? Because only the useful genes are expressed, sometimes the harmful genes are also expressed. For example, we are looking for a high yielding variety. Okay, when we tried is basically that plant, okay, that animal is giving more milk, that cow is giving more milk. Okay, that is what it is expressed. But okay, okay, but it might have the gene for a low yield also. That one we can't able to see with our naked eye. No, only the whatever that is expressed, that one only we can able to. And even when you observe the bull, okay, in one generation it has produced good quality progeny only, but it might have the gene for the other quality also. when you cross this one, sometimes what happens? Okay, this recessive gene from the female and the recessive gene from the male also can come and combine. As a result, what happens? The progeny does not show the required character. In that case, what we can do? Simply we can eliminate, we can discard that progeny. Will not continue with that generation. We'll simply discard that progeny with that only, and again we'll go with the another cross. Okay, till we'll get the desired quality, we can undergo inbreeding. Okay, it may take some many crosses. Okay, it cannot occur within one generation or two generations. It may take some generations to obtain the pure line for the desired character. Okay, that is so. It also helps in accumulation of superior genes and elimination of less desirable genes. So by, okay, that means, okay, desirable genes are expressed as well as the harmful genes are also expressed. But how we can able to develop only the desirable characters containing in, okay, breeds means by selection. Okay, by selecting the best ones from that breed. Okay, whichever the progeny that is showing good qualities, that one only will be continued to obtain the next generation. And whatever the progeny, okay, that is not good enough or not showing the, okay, desired qualities, okay, or desired characters, okay, that will be discarded and that progeny will not be continued further. Okay, that is so. That, okay, the inbreeding has to be followed by the selection. Then only we can able to develop okay, desired characters containing breeds. Okay, that is, okay, that is the advantage of inbreeding. Okay, okay, the